Guys, remember the days when you were always ready to go? Always ready to go. You know, before Me Too. I'm kidding. Remember the days when you could adequately perform for your partner? Remember those days when your penis got rock hard? Those days when you had a dick and you had hope and you had the potential to maybe get a job that you didn't hate and they paid you money and you were going to move and you were going to leave your town and buy a beautiful home and have a family. And, you know, remember those days when you thought you had hope? Remember those days? Remember that back then when you had a hard dick and you woke up in the morning and your hangovers didn't really bother you and you could handle your booze. Remember those days? You could smoke a joint without thinking about smoking another one in the middle of the day while you were at work. Remember those days? Remember those days when you weren't horribly addicted to heroin? Remember those days when you weren't literally barricading your mother in her fucking bathroom because she was afraid of you and you steal her car and go to the city to try to get some dope? Remember those days? Well, we can get you back there. You can go back to those days before you let the demon that lived inside you take over. Before you started sucking dick for heroin in a supermarket parking lot. When somebody wants to fuck, they want to fuck. They don't have time for you to fucking get your life together, get your blood circulating again by going to the gym and eating right. They want you to chew some blue and get to business. But do you remember those days? Remember those days when you're always ready to go? When your mother and father looked at you and it wasn't with pure disgust and fear? Do you remember those days? You remember those days when the world was your oyster? You could do anything you want. You were young. You might have been a bit naive. You remember those days? You remember what it felt like to be a human being and just enjoy the sun? You remember those days you used to go to the beach with your friend Karen? Now she won't talk to you anymore because she saw you collecting cans last Wednesday and it made her shudder. She shut the door of her house because she saw you pedaling a shopping cart full of cans down the street and you look gaunt and pale and your eyes are sunken into your head. You remember those days before that was your reality? Before the drug had literally taken over your entire body? You remember those days? Blue Chew is made in the USA. And since Blue Chew prepares and ships direct, they're cheaper than a pharmacy. I mean, how cool is that? Shipped in discreet packaging. It's very discreet. You don't have to go to the doctor's office or wait in line at the pharmacy, and it ships right to your door in a discreet package. But do you remember those days when you were always ready to go? You ready to fuck? When you used to shit inside? Remember those days? You shit outside last week. You shit outside. Because nobody would let you use their bathroom because they knew you were going to tie one off in there. They knew you were going to fucking wrap a balloon around your arm and sail to the land where nobody is mad at you. They knew what you were going to do in that bathroom, so you had to shit outside to make a point. You shat outside. But do you remember those days when you used to shit inside and you were always ready to go? That hard dick, young, hopeful. You remember those days? That's BlueChew.com, folks. BLUE Chew.com. Promo code Tim. So if you want to remember those days, before you scared families in the mall, if you want to remember those days before parents held their children tighter, before you were a literal cautionary tale, if you want to remember those days before you considered eating a cat, the other week, you thought about it. The only reason you didn't do it because it would take too much work. But you considered getting a cat, breaking its neck, skinning it, and barbecuing it. You remember those days before you were doing that?